Here we go again. Just 3 months after the horrific shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, another today, this time in Santa Fe, Texas. Like cable news, local media is doing wall-to-wall coverage, but one Houston station is taking a different approach, burned in the past by the spread of false information on social media. It was around 7:30 this morning local time when reports first came of an active shooter at Santa Fe High School.
We can confirm 10 people are dead, 9 of them students, 1 a teacher.
But when information just began to emerge, Houston's KHOU rolled out a new metric it's been doing since last summer's mass shooting in Las Vegas.
Tiffany Craig is here, and she's been checking some of the things that you may have heard might have been rumors.
The on-screen graph has 3 headings: verified, false, and an unnamed middle area.
This middle section here, this is bits and pieces of information that we've heard about, but we have not been able to independently confirm. One of those is that a teacher pulled the fire alarm.
If the approach seems clinical, it's out of necessity. As in all breaking news events, wild rumors and hoaxes spread all over social media.
People love to throw out this stuff, and we want you to know that it's false. 18 school shootings in 2018. This number is being passed around, but know that this is false.
As for reporting the uncertain,
and we did hear some of the dispatch tapes, and they did mention the art class, but as to whether it was targeted specifically, we don't know yet.
Right, we don't. So that's why it's staying in that column.
You know, visually this was kind of dry. I was so impressed with this. There was just a soothing, calming approach to this. And you want to report everything that you hear. We all know that. We all heard about the art class this morning. We didn't know who pulled the fire alarm. But to kind of categorize it like that, I thought it was really well done. And that's how they did it all day long.
I thought it was great. You're seeing a little more fact-checking as news happens now. You're seeing it even on the big cable news networks where underneath they'll say, no, that didn't really happen, or this is not true, or this has been verified. But in this kind of an emotionally charged situation, it's really great to see that middle column also. Yeah. We've heard this. We're working on it. Yeah. We don't know if it's true or false yet. Take it with a grain of salt.
I think it's a really ingenious approach, very straightforward when you actually see it implemented, but it had never occurred to me before. That said, I think the people who might most need to have their facts checked are probably not going to trust what this news organization or others that use a similar approach have to say. The people who think that this shooting, like all the others, was a false flag operation, that there's crisis actors who go around, I don't think this is going to reach them. And I would just add, I was very troubled on a personal level that when I saw the news of this shooting, we've reached a point now where my reaction was, oh, that's terrible. Yeah. And then I just went about comparing it to Parkland, comparing it to Sandy Hook. Before that, we have, I think, as journalists, but also media, humans, we become almost inured to this, which I think is really depressing.
I've seen some newspapers, including the New York Times, do this type of thing during breaking news situations. So it's not entirely new, but it's good to see that the Houston TV station is taking its public service obligation seriously. I'm going to have to think a while about whether I like that middle column. I am thinking that maybe it just not ought to be there. If you haven't verified it, don't report it.
I would normally agree with you, except that what they were trying to do is get ahead of what's out there and to be very clear about what we know, what we don't know, and anything else over here, people, it's swirling around, and I'm telling you, we cannot say.
Well, I'm undecided.
Yeah, so, and I think what I was going to say is I thought they played to their visual strength by letting you see the columns, which just underscored it. You may be right that the people who were likely to spread this would not listen, but it's something about, I bet you other people in their community would say, you know, well, on channel KHOU, they're saying blah, blah.
Meanwhile, all the stations and the cable networks are going to have a real dilemma because this is still going to be an unfolding story tomorrow. Right. And like us, we're about to move on to a story about the royal wedding or coverage of it, and it'll be interesting to see how the networks all deal with that tomorrow.
It will.
You know.